Hello kiddos, my name is Klaus Austerlitz, but you may address me as Mr. Beacon. I was hired by Mr. Vuong to narrate this story about the Congress of Vienna. The Congress of Vienna was convened in 1815 by the four European powers which had defeated Napoleon. The first goal was to establish a new balance of power in Europe, which would prevent imperialism within Europe, such as the Napoleonic Empire, and maintain the peace between the great powers. The second goal was to prevent political revolutions, such as the French Revolution, and maintain the status quo. At this point, one would guess that Napoleon is terribly mad, because his empire collapsed faster than a house of cards, and because he was exiled to Elba. The Congress was held by Prince Clemens Wenzel von Metternich. This guy Metternich basically wanted everyone to go back into order and forget about all this nationalism business. In fact, he promoted monarchs and absolute government. Here is a quote from the Treaty of Paris explaining his thought.
His Majesty the King of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland, and his allies on one part, and His Majesty the King of France and Navarre on the other part, animated by an equal desire to terminate the long agitations of Europe and the sufferings of mankind by a permanent peace.
On March 1815, when everyone is making deals for this Congress of Vienna, Napoleon sneaks his way out of Elba and gets back onto the throne, and he starts something called the 100 Days, which I am not obliged to talk about. So the Allies get together again and completely destroy this Napoleon kid at the Battle of Waterloo, and they decide to give France heavy war reparations in order to prevent them from being powerful again, and send Napoleon to St. Helena, a forlorn British possession in the South Atlantic. Napoleon says,
"Death is nothing, but to live defeated and inglorious is to die daily."
Napoleon stays at St. Helena every day, defeated and inglorious, of course, until he eventually rots to death on that island. Achoo! It is pretty cold in here, isn't it? Metternich says,
I have never feared that the revolution would be endangered by the universities. But by at them a whole generation of revolutionaries must be formed. Unless the evil is restrained, seems to me certain, the greatest and consequently most urgent evil now is the press. All journals, pamphlets, etc. in Germany must be under a censorship.
All the monarchs basically agreed to work together to stop any and all forms of revolutions or nationalism. If something comes up, they all agreed that they would completely destroy it. Also, the borders were fixed to a point before Napoleon. Over time, the Congress message weakened and nationalistic pride sparked many revolutions in 1848 and prior. This eventually led to the creation of nations, which, undoubtedly, led to many other conflicts such as World War I. All this talking is making me sleepy. Goodbye, kiddos. I hope that this documentary on the Congress of Vienna has helped you in some way, and I'm sure that you will all score well on the AP European exam.